Welcome to the Crafty Mini, and in this one we've got a double unboxing of some Heroquest expansions. So first up, Rise of the Dreadmoon. So I've managed to get a hold of I think nearly all of the expansions now. A few of the smaller ones I'm still missing, but I'll be getting them. But yeah, we're going to have a deep dive into these. So as with all, you get a nice set of card tokens and some of the bigger tiles that'll clearly cover like the middle room or areas of the dungeon on the big map itself, which is nice because you get a lot of variation and some extra things you can do if you want to make up your own quests as well. Now the actual quest book itself, I won't be spoiling anything, just having a rough flip through. So there's, you know, quite a few quests in here. Yeah, it looks interesting. Not quite sure of the at this point when I was unboxing, because there's a lot of elves and I was like, oh, are these like mercenaries or are the actual bad guys of the game? So as always, you get a load of miniatures. Nice to see some furniture as well, and you get these elves. So you got some archers and swordsmen, and then a couple at the top with flails. And overall, you know, print quality is pretty good. These strange cultist-like figures, and in the red plastic, that's usually a hero. So this is a new one, some form of knight. So they'll have, no doubt, their own special power cards as we go through. A couple of extra doors, which is always welcome. And as I mentioned, just the furniture, always good because you can just expand it. It makes the board look nice when you got it all set up. So wardrobe, table, and then these little standees, which I'm assuming is for a card token to fit in. That's very reminiscent to the old 1989 Heroquest where the doors would sit in like that. But some of the sort of texture and the sculpture on the furniture is really nice. It pops, it's got a high detail, which we like. Miniature wise, pretty basic, but I don't mind. It's nice and easy to paint. There's not a lot of faff all over them, which is what you find with a lot of modern games these days. There's just too many minor details that just get lost in it. And with these, they've all got nice silhouettes and you can see exactly what they are. So another layer of miniatures. And yet, so these purple ones, I was wondering if these are maybe drow or something, but they're a different type. I would assume they're enemies as well. And then you get these, which are printed in a translucent plastic, which is really nice. And with these, because there's a slight hole in the bottom, I'm wondering if I can mount some form of light and just let that shine through. They're not even paint these at all, and just let them have a, you know, so they look ghostly and more translucent. Same with this tomb, so it's got this translucent plastic top, and I think with the light shining through that, that's going to look really cool. And maybe just like a very thin wash on the actual translucent part just to change the colour, or some like a plastic sweet wrapper on the back just to help diffuse the colour. But they've all got these indents on the basis, so that's something I'm going to play with that when we get to around to painting them. That's something we'll look at. A couple of statues, which is always nice. Again, more furniture, just gives more character and a bit more theme to the actual piece. And just checking nothing's underneath as always. But yeah, onto the cards. So with all the current expansions, if there's a new hero, they're all getting new powers, and I'm starting to worry a little bit. So this one, same thing, it gets the knight. So they get their own 3 special sort of abilities. In particular, the base game barbarian and the base game dwarf have got nothing. Looks like anyway. I mean, maybe in another expansion. So I'm getting a bit worried that they're going to get left behind. But there's the knight. You know, pretty good stats, decent defense. Overall, not too bad. And again, nice variation to play. Now, with these, so it looks like you're going to be up against elves, which is a bit different. Normally, you know, it's goblins, orcs and such, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays. The assassin looks quite nice as well, because she can attack diagonally, which is, you know, it's a nice thing. That in the base game it was only really the staff or the spear. You can also have hirelings in this as well, but it seems like it's an elven cult of some sort. But yeah, interesting that it's not your more traditional monsters. How it plays in the game, I won't know until I get there. But the spectres and the sort of ghost, dread wraith, they all look really cool. But yeah, if anyone's played this, either without spoiling anything for anyone else, leave a comment. And did it play well? Is it a good mission pack? It's got some nice equipment and treasure cards. So with these, you just shuffle them into the main deck for that particular game. Now there doesn't seem to be any marker on it to say which expansion it's from. So I'm wondering, could you do, like, once you get everything, is just do a monster equipment deck? Because it's only really the artifacts that would be individual to that quest run. So maybe something you can do with, play around with in the future. But yeah, some nice spells for Zargon, which is cool. Some extra equipment, which it's fair, really nice artwork. It's, sticking with the old style. It's still slightly cartoony compared, but it's that sepia black and white art style. A couple of new little thrown weapons, a couple of just the basic stuff that they've reprinted. But yeah, artifacts wise, there's a lot of fun stuff here. A lot of things you can have a bit of fun with in terms of in-game, and also using in other mission packs. It'd be interesting to see how it works with the crossover. Is there anything that's too powerful that could potentially break the game, or do you just use them for this specific expansion? And then this surprised me, so alchemy. Now, it's not something I've come across yet that I'm aware of, but various potions and elixirs that you can take to give you buffs or help you, take on enemies, counter spell effects and things. Interesting take, and this is something just on the first sort of glimpse and a prelim. I really hope they can continue with this with other stuff as we come to the unboxings, because this expands the game, I think, quite a lot. It leads to a lot of fun and there's cool little synergies and things you can work out. But yeah, quite interesting idea this with the alchemy. You've got your standard healing potions and things, and potion of swiftness, heroic brew and all that. But then you've got things that allow you to sort of go invisible, move through enemy spaces. There's one where you can actually you ignore the first spell that was attacked against you, which I find quite interesting. And yeah, and again, so the bottom of the card, strangely, it says crafted, some of them. Others, it'll say how much gold it takes to buy. So I'm assuming there's something in this expansion where you can craft potions and do some alchemy, which will be interesting. But yeah, overall, not a bad set. I mean, all of the miniatures are nice and unique sculpts, which is good. Nothing reused. Pretty simple, as I say, on the detail, but I personally don't mind that. It's going to be easier to paint and get this on the table, and ultimately that's the idea of this, is get it on table and have fun with it. But yeah, it's not too bad. I like the idea of hirelings, because that's something we had in the old Wizards of Morcar expansion back in the day. For those of you who remember, you could have those little men-at-arms with halberds, shields, and crossbowmen, and in this they're elves. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do, and how all these sort of tokens and things fit in. But yeah, there was a couple of doorways, mirrors there that'll fit in those little standees that I found. But yeah, interesting. Overall, doesn't look too bad. It's interesting to see how this is actually going to play in terms of the game. And I'm also trying to find out if anyone knows, is there now a specific order for these expansions and quest packs? Because I'm assuming that there are certain things that you can take over to the next quest and so on and so forth. But yeah, nice to have a new character, new furniture, always good. And the translucent plastic I think is a really nice addition, and yeah, that's something you can have a bit of fun with. And we'll see about lighting them up, getting like a little plinth that they can just sit on. But yeah, overall not too bad with this one, looks good. I'm hoping more of this as we go on. Right, and on to the Jungles of Delthrak. Now this one, out of all the expansions, this one intrigued me the most, because it seems like it's an outdoor setting. And how's that going to work in terms of the actual board? Because everything fits within the board itself. Now there's, on these map tiles, there's clearly outdoor areas. And now whether they're actual outdoor or sort of like little groves within a dungeon system, I'm not sure. Also the fact that this is a dwarf based campaign, which is pretty cool. Something we've not seen, and it doesn't seem to be the usual take of like Kellar's Keep, as it were. But yeah, the artwork on the tiles and things really nice. One thing I will mention is the cardstock is a little bit thinner than it normally is. So just be careful, obviously, with bending and things. Now the campaign book's got a lot of different stuff in there. and again, load of quests, so I'm not going to spoil it. And I've heard rumours this has a branching quest system. Now, I've not actually played it yet, so I don't know. When it comes to actually playing, I will do like a full review on it. But yeah, into the box itself. So first thing that I noticed, because obviously the red miniatures are characters, and there's a raptor here. Not sure why. Maybe an animal companion at this point, I was thinking. But yeah, so we've got a couple of new, looks like berserkers. You've got a weird man, cat, lion thing. And my personal favourite in this entire set is the little dwarfs. These look brilliant. They're really nice. So they're not the heavily armoured dwarfs that you'd normally expect, but they're light sort of scouts. With these backpacks, all these little things on, and like tinkerers and things. Really good idea. Also be cool for a D&D character as well. Now, one thing I noticed straight away, so we've got a brand new sculpt, so it looks like a goblin wizard of some sort, which is pretty cool. A couple of so there's two reused sculpts there, so the goblin boomerang and bombers from the Return of the Ogre Horde set. But again, a nice thing is this Return of the Translucent Plastic, and it looks like there are these sort of gem sort of crops or flames that sit on these plastic bases. And again, with the recess in the bottom, I'm going to look at lighting these up as well. Now, white plastic miniatures are traditionally undead. Now, these have got skulls and things on, so I'm assuming they're undead at this point. But I've noticed there's a lot of vines and sort of tree bits in there. So I'm not sure if some sort of weird dead tree spirit or something like that. And again, weirdly, some more raptors. So I'm assuming you can have maybe like a druid shape into a raptor, but then there are also wild ones around that you've got to fight. Same thing. So a deck of cards as always, which is good. So I'm assuming some new characters, and it turns out we've got a couple. So we've got a male and female sculpt of a berserker. Really appreciate when they do that, so you've got a bit more choice. A male and female scout, dwarven scout, sorry, each with their own special powers. And again, this takes back to the previous, just looking at the previous expansion. I do worry that the original characters are getting left behind a little bit, and that you'd want to play these. Now, whether you can play these in the base game, I'm not sure. I'm guessing so. I can't see why you wouldn't be able to. Especially if you want a legacy character who goes through all of these, and if the barbarian and dwarf in particular are getting a bit left behind, they're going to struggle later on. It would seem anyway. But yeah, so it looks like you can have a raptor or what's called a saber fang as like an animal companion. Now, whether that's a quest specific or something you can cast, I'm not sure. It doesn't seem apparent, but we've got some nice monsters in this as well. So it looks like very jungly, which are going to be really nice to paint, colourful. There's a giant ape, which I'm assuming is underneath. That's going to look good, just based on the artwork alone. And then yes, so these are called skull blights, these weird undead tree things. And then smaller versions of spiders and snakes called hatchlings. So I'm assuming there's a mechanic for that. Now you get your usual, some dread spells for Zarkon to use for, I'm guessing, for certain characters in the game. Some extra treasure cards and artifacts. Very thematic, very expansion based. All this sort of jungle sort of stuff. Really appreciate that because it sets a tone. With this particular expansion, this was the one I was excited for because the branching path system. How's it going to work? Because from what I read, this follows on from Kellar's Keep, which is the first expansion from the original base set. So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays on. Is there choices that can be made from the original story and things like that? See how in depth they've gone. And again, more alchemy, which is good. This is an interesting mechanic. So when I read up on that and see how that works, that's something I'd like to tie into just the base game itself. And I've seen there's tons of stuff online where people have made their own cards with artwork and things that you can print off. Which, to be fair, if it's good stuff, I'll be printing it and adding it to the game itself. But yeah, overall, card quality and everything, as you'd expect. Nice artwork, some really interesting artifacts. That again, how they carry over into other expansions and other quest lines is going to be interesting. Because for us, when we played originally, we had the original 4 characters, and we played all the way through the first 4 expansions, because that's all there was back then. But yeah, be interested to see how this plays. So onto the second layer of miniatures. So the standout is this giant ape. He's going to be a lot of fun to paint. Bags of character, a massive stone weapon. He's a really big chunky boy. He's about the size of the ogre chieftain, if not a little bigger. The spider also, fantastic. I'm going to have fun painting different colours with this, making it look more sort of rainforesty, multicoloured creatures. The cultists are from the previous expansion, just in a different plastic. Skeleton archers are from the ogre horde, reused. But you do get some nice furniture pieces, which is good. So these little sort of treasure hoards with a chest, a couple of urns, and some what look like precious gems and things. And another one of these little statuette things, which I would assume is a quest specific item. And then a giant snake. Not too bad, it's just more the posing, but I understand the constraints of he's got to fit on a 2x1 space on the board, so they can move around easily. But yeah, not too bad. This is of all the current expansions, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most to playing, because I heard about this branch. So you finish a quest and you have a choice and you go somewhere else. I'm interested to see how that works. Hopefully it's as good as it's sort of made out to be. Overall, the miniatures, again, same sort of quality as before. Some of them might need a bit of hot water just to bend back into shape. I really like these crystal sections, same as the previous expansion. The fact that they're translucent and maybe you can light them up and things. But yeah, overall, not too bad with this one. Interesting to see how this is going to play. And as always, if anyone's got any information about any of these, if they know the order in which you play, can you carry over heroes from, like, can you take the Dwarven Scout from this and put it into the base game straight away, and so on, or will it break it? Just let us know in the comments, because it'd be interesting to see what people are saying about that. And also, I like the fact that this has a callback to Kellar's Keep, which is good. It makes you feel more of a, because this is a very, very, very light RPG, but it's nice to have a callback, like in the original game with the Witch Lord, and then there was an expansion called Return of the Witch Lord. It was a fantastic. It made you feel fun when you played it. You realise this is a reoccurring bad guy. But yeah, overall, really like this one. I'm hoping it lives up to the hype and it plays well. But on the next video, we're going to be looking at the last 2 expansions that I've got, and going into those. After that, it'll be the start of the new season. There'll be a little teaser coming out on the 30th, so enjoy, and we'll see you all on the next one. Thanks very much for watching.